Disney World is a family destination, but that doesn't mean it is only for families. There are many great date nights hiding out in Disney World parks, and today we're going to choose our favorites.
Welcome to Always Planning Disney, where planning is half the fun. I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Melissa.
And on this channel, we talk through all of the details that go into making our vacations magical.
I think it might be nice to start by saying a date night is likely a reality for your next trip.
It is, and that's so exciting because we haven't even gotten a date night at home in I don't even know how long. So the idea of a date night at Disney World is so amazing to me. So I'm really excited to talk about possibilities. And we did get a date night on our last trip, and it was glorious. We had such a nice time. And it was only supposed to be an after our kiddos' bedtime kind of length of date. But we actually got a little bit longer because we had gone back to the hotel for a nap time, and my parents were going to watch our son. And they're like, we don't really feel like going back to the parks. We're just going to stay here at the resort. So they were at Animal Kingdom Lodge. They made s'mores. They looked at animals. They had a great time. And we got to go and do grown-up rides at Hollywood Studios. So we were doing, it was Fast Pass then, didn't pay any money, got on a bunch of big hitter rides. And then we met up with your family. My husband and I met up with your whole family, and we got to do Fantasmic with you guys, which was fun. And then after Fantasmic, we completely lost track of one another in the crowds exiting Hollywood Studios. So
there were so many people there, which was that sort of first warning sign for me that this was not going to be a low crowd week.
And it was the first night of your trip, right?
Yep.
So you're like, oh no. Yeah, so completely lost track of Melissa. I'm like, well, I guess I'll see her someday. And then we hopped over to the Polynesian, and we tried to get into Trader Sam's. They actually didn't have that long of a wait, but I had a terrible headache by this point, and I was like, I cannot do it. I cannot do it. So we went back to Animal Kingdom Lodge, to Victoria Falls Lounge, which is their bar there. And my husband had a drink and I had a water because of my headache. So it didn't quite go as planned, but it was fun to run around as just a couple of grown-ups again, since we hadn't done that the rest of the trip. So next trip, we actually might have more than one opportunity for a date night. Don't be too jealous. So as I mentioned in one of our previous episodes where we were talking about next trip, we're going to only plan our days until mid-afternoon or so. And then we're just going to see what we feel like doing in the evenings. So my mom has said she's anticipating she might just want to hang back in the hotel like she did for that Animal Kingdom day, and just hang out at the resort with our son. Great. They get grandson time, and so we get to run off and do grown-up things. So I'm thinking we can probably plan for one date night in terms of making a reservation to do a thing. But also I'd like to have some things in my back pocket for okay, it turns out we have the evening without a kiddo. What do we want to do with ourselves? I don't want to just be oh, I guess we'll go, I don't know, do something that turns out to not be as exciting. I want to have some ideas. So I'm excited to think through this.
Yeah. So I don't have any guaranteed adult only date night time blocked off into my next Disney trip, but I think one day I will. And also there is the age gap between my kids does mean at some point my oldest would be able to comfortably stay back with my youngest alone. We are not there yet, but I know that it is somewhere in our future. So I like thinking through it.
Right? You're someday not too far away, right? She'd be able to watch him.
Oh yeah. I don't know about this next trip in 2023, early 2023, maybe if it was short and we were near, but definitely the one after that, because if we keep our spacing, as painful as this is to say, my daughter would be in high school. That is terrifying, but the reality. So
someday in the not too distant future, you'll be right here with me.
Yeah. And when I am, one of the things on my list is the obvious Victoria and Albert's at the Grand Floridian. It is currently closed as we are recording this, but I am looking so far into the future, I'm sure it will be open by then. This works well for me, even though it's a very obvious choice, because I am a big fan of very expensive 7-course fixed priced meals. The price tag at this place is very high. I think it currently is at $235, maybe like $238, and that's before doing like the paired wine with the whole meal. However, I haven't done a multi-course fixed price meal since 2019, so I think it might be in the budget. It is something I know would be great. It's a one and done. It's won a bunch of awards. It's super fancy. I saw on a Disney food blog review that they bring you a little chair for your cell phone or purse to sit on, so it doesn't have to sit on the table. And also, I would spend $120 on that fancy water. The one thing that does discourage me is this meal takes a very long time, and I'd have to be willing to give up that much of my vacation.
You really started with the epitome of date nights. Like, if you think about a date night at Walt Disney World, Victoria and Albert's, like, that is the thing to do, and it's a hard reservation to nab. I have a friend who went a few years ago, and she said it was absolutely amazing. She immediately wanted to be able to make another reservation there. She had such a nice time. But for us, I think we're just like more casual date night kind of people. And I've looked at the menu for Victoria and Albert's before. I don't even really like the food that's on the menu. I'm kind of a picky eater, and it all sounds kind of icky to me. So I don't think I want to spend that kind of money on it. I think I'd rather spend my money on, I don't know, lots of cheese and wine, probably someplace else. But it's a once in a lifetime experience. I could see that being something that we wanted to do maybe when we're older and wiser, but I don't think that's the one for me next time.
All right. So the next stop, if we're talking eating, is going to be Epcot, and I know Le Cellier is a solid date night pick. People love it. I know if I'm in Epcot, though, I want to eat my way around all of the festival booths. It's something I don't get to do enough of when we have the kids with us, because that's just not high on their list of what they want to do. And we're always making sure we're not missing any rides or shows as we're walking around. So quality adult time for me would be getting to enjoy the festival booths to the fullest.
Absolutely. And I think this will be sort of our default pick if we did have an impromptu date night, because Festival of the Arts will be going on while we're there, and we love Festival of the Arts. We love the food booths, so it would be really easy to, if there's nothing we'd rather do, which we probably wouldn't, like, we're probably going to go hang out at Festival of the Arts and eat a bunch of food. And I also think that being in Epcot, and specifically the World Showcase without a kiddo, could be really nice for exploring the pavilions a little bit more and some of the displays that are available, and taking our time wandering through the shops and just that stuff that maybe we could do with a kiddo with us, but it's easier to take our time and really appreciate what's there when it's just two adults.
Yes, I completely agree. What else is on your dining list?
So most of our bucket list restaurants are actually at Disney Springs instead of at the parks. And the very top of my personal list is Wine Bar George. I so want to go to Wine Bar George, and it seems like just like great vibes for the kind of dates that we enjoy, where it's casual, but it's really good food, it's really good drinks. It's the kind of place where I think we could have a conversation. It's not going to be too loud, yet it's going to feel, I don't know, it seems like a good energy in there, I guess. And there are just so many items on that menu that we would love to try. I want the flaming cheese real bad. And then my husband has recently started enjoying wine with me. He didn't used to be a wine drinker at all, and lately, I don't know, he just decided to drink wine now. So it would be really fun to get some recommendations from the servers. I've heard that they're extremely knowledgeable, so I think that would be really fun. And then afterwards we could get dessert from Amorette's or Gideon's or one of the, I don't know, probably 20 other amazing options at Disney Springs. It would just be lovely to wander around and enjoy it.
So then what about the lounges? I know you have some lounges on your list.
I totally do. And I think lounges are likely to be where we wind up as well, especially since most of them either don't require reservations or don't even allow reservations. That makes it much easier for just a spur of the moment, see if they have availability, and if not, we move on. So I think that works out really nicely. So we would love to try to get into Trader Sam's again. That's Trader Sam's Grog Grotto at the Polynesian Resort. We tried last time and it didn't work out, but we would love to go there because it's like, it's the ambiance of that place is insane. Like if you order certain drinks, different things happen in the room. What? Like that's so cool. The drinks look amazing. We like tiki drinks and there's some good food there as well. So I think that would be another one to try again. Fingers crossed we can get in this time. It's so popular that I almost wish that they would take reservations. One that would require a reservation would be Oga's Cantina in Galaxy's Edge in Hollywood Studios. And that's one that we would have liked to go to last time and it just didn't fit into the trip. So I'd love to get a reservation there. Those are hard to come by these days because it's a very small space and a very popular lounge. And I'd love to manage to get a reservation for after park close so we can have the Millennium Falcon to ourselves. Like, can I talk my husband into bringing his Savi's lightsaber back to Florida for a photo shoot? Because I may try, because he didn't get any photos last time.
Didn't. I'm surprised that wouldn't be his idea to return with it for the photos.
I might make, if I manage to get that reservation, I think I am packing his lightsaber for him and I'm just gonna make him dork out with a lightsaber and he'll thank me later. He really will, but he'll feel silly in the moment. So that would be really fun. And they do have quite a few reservations after park close. So people tend to have questions about that. Like I see those popping up on social media all the time of, well, how do I go there if it's after park close? And you get to stay. And then when you leave your reservation, it's like just you on Batu. It's pretty cool. So that's a great option. And then there's lots of other options at the resorts that we would love to check out, especially the ones that have live music. So when we stayed at Port Orleans Riverside, there's a pianist that plays there that we had just a really lovely time listening to one night. If we do wind up at Boardwalk, they have pianos at Jelly Rolls. So just like wandering someplace, finding some entertainment and having a drink at one of those lounges sounds very appealing.
Yes, and it's also very flexible, which is nice if you have a last minute opportunity to go out or if you have something planned and you're looking to fit other things around it. So I'm completely on board with the lounges. I also have some less obvious date night ideas that might work better for me than you, but the first one would be hiking at Fort Wilderness. I love a good hike, and when we take them as families, it's not all that fun. My oldest complains from beginning to end, and my youngest only has so much distance in his little legs. So having a hike with another adult who is going to make it the entire time and not whine sounds wonderful to me. And Fort Wilderness looks amazing. The more I look at it, the activities outnumber pretty much any other resort, and it's starting to slip on my list, even though I know it's always been a hard pass for me. I thought about it a little bit more since this morning, and I think it still will be a hard pass as a place to stay, only because we do a lot of the things that are available at Fort Wilderness for all of our other vacations.
Yeah.
We go camping once a year. We already do it, but man, the place looks great, and I would love a hike at Disney.
Yeah, that's such a fun, like off the beaten trail, kind of literally off the beaten trail thing to do. But I'm wondering, like, and I know you walk so much more than I do in your everyday life. So maybe this isn't even an issue for you, but I'm like, do I want to walk more miles on my Disney vacation, or do I want to sit myself down and have a drink? That might be a hard sell for me, even though it would be really fun to take a hike someplace that I've never hiked before.
Now, they do have a segue trail at Fort Wilderness that I would not do because I'm not going on one. So that's way off my list. Not doing it.
No.
Oh, I'm back. No, they're like, it includes a half hour of training. I'm like, no. Mm-mm.
If it requires a half hour of training, I'm not confident in my ability to safely ride one. No. Although my parents did report that there was about a half an hour of training before the marshmallow roasting at the bonfire at Animal Kingdom Lodge. So I think they just take safety very, very seriously at Disney, because she was like, goodness sakes, we had to hear so much about marshmallow safety. I also have one that's not like your typical, dinner or drinks kind of date night. We tried to play mini golf at Fantasia Gardens, which is at the Swan Resort, probably a decade ago, and we got rained out partway through. I probably still have those darn rain checks somewhere. Like they'll turn up as I'm digging through, like decluttering my house. So like maybe we could finally finish our game of mini golf.
Yes.
That'd be fun, and it would be a lot easier without a small person with us. And then, I have another Disney Springs one that's not food. Cirque du Soleil's Drawn to Life show. I love Cirque du Soleil. I have never seen one of their full shows live. I've seen some of their street performers in Montreal before, but not like an entire show. And so that would be really cool to get a chance to see them.
That one looks really cool. And it's also the type of thing that is sometimes just a little easier to enjoy without kids. Like there's plenty of kid-friendly things out there that sometimes are just nicer without. Something else on my list that is not an official Disney activity, although I guess it sort of is something that plenty of people do, go on a hidden Mickey hunt. We are competitive. I love to walk. Why not walk around the parks, see who can find the most hidden Mickeys? In our daily lives, we do a lot of whoever can find the most fill in the blank wins, or the first person to find this wins. We went for a walk on a surprisingly warm day this winter, and it was whoever could find the leftover Halloween decorations still up, or whoever could find a remaining pumpkin wins. So it's something we do anyway. I think that would be a lot of fun. Also on my list would be just riding rides. As a family of 4, with a relatively young non-rider, we use Rider Swap for pretty much everything that isn't Small World. I've taken Ray to Disney World 3 times, and we have not been on any like large ride together. Not Flight of Passage, not Seven Dwarfs, not even Soarin'. We have gone on none of these rides together. So I think it might be nice just to go on a couple as a couple.
That makes me kind of sad that you haven't gotten to do that together. I didn't even think about that. I mean, I do think about that with Rider Swap, is like then you are going on a ride all by yourself, but that's a bummer. Okay, I want you to do that on your date night, because that sounds like a great option just for anybody, but if you haven't done that together, you need to do that together.
Yeah, it occurred to me when I was thinking about this episode. I was like, what's something we could do? And I'm like, just Disney. We just do Disney.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot to be said for just like wandering around the parks with your husband, seeing what you get up to. I think that's fun.
Agreed. Thanks so much for tuning in. Let us know in the comments what you would do on a date night in Disney. And remember to like and subscribe to plan along with us.